record it. Okay, just now I've started the recording. Anyway, so what is that? So intra-zone traffic, if the name of the zone is trust, only then it will be allowed. If it is inter-zone traffic without the policy, no traffic is allowed to pass through. That is very clear, correct? If there is any clarification is required on that? Okay. Again, the zone types. When it comes to the zone types, we have to understand there are two different types of zones. We call it as security zone. And then the other one is functional zone. Okay. The security zones are nothing but the zones where the interfaces are going to be connected to the network and user traffic is going to be screened according to the instructions. Assume that you have a configuration on which of the traffic the configurations are going to be affecting. See, we have the firewall. The traffic will be received on one interface and the traffic is going to be sent via the other interface. That's what the basic need. While the traffic is passing through, the type of the traffic is called as transit traffic. Okay, don't forget it. Transit traffic. So that transit traffic is going to be inspected by the policy or the configuration whatever you have done on the firewall. So you have to keep the interfaces on the security zone which require that kind of inspection or screening or filtering, whatever you call it as. So security zone is the zone where we are expecting the transit traffic is going to be received and forwarded, on which the filtering has to happen. Clear? Okay. That is security zone. Then what is the functional zone? Functional zone or the zone, again an interface is going to be associated to a functional zone. The zone is meant for some specific functionality. What do you mean by that? Say for example, management is a functionality or user traffic handling is going to be happening on that. If I have an interface reserved for management, that interface can be used only for the management purpose. Other than that, there is no use of it. You agree? Okay. So as of now, see, if you go for the NetScreen firewall, there are multiple functional zones. You can say the functional zone as management, the functional zone as high availability, the functional zone as null, there are so many functional zones were there in NetScreen. Okay. In SRX, you have only one functional zone as of now, which is management. Do you agree? So do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So any interface associated to a zone called as management, okay, will be reserved only for the management. Then we call it as out of band management interface. What I mean to say, assume that I have an interface reserved for the management zone. Okay, there is an interface which we have reserved for management. So the traffic whatever is received over here should be only for managing this firewall, management purpose only, nothing else. Because of that, this interface itself, whatever the bandwidth you have, that whole bandwidth is reserved only for management. So that's why we call this as out of band management interface. Now in this case, out of band management zone, because that's a functional zone. Okay, so we know what is security zone. We also know what is functional zone now. Apart from that, there is one more thing which is called as a system defined zone. So these are all user defined. Which one? Security zone and functional zones can be defined by the user. Whereas the system defined zone is only one zone which is called as null zone. What is that null zone? An interface is going to be part of a null zone by default. As long as the interface is in null zone, it is of no use. Which means what? It cannot be allowed to receive the traffic. It cannot be allowed to forward the traffic on that interface. So as long as the interface is in null zone, that interface is not going to be processing any of the user traffic. Do you understand? Oh, okay. Again, shared my screen. Yeah, it's visible. Yeah. Okay. So the meaning of null zone is what? It's it's just a placeholder. All unused interfaces are going to be kept in null zone. Okay, we'll do one more thing. Assume that this interface has been associated to a zone called as trust zone. All of a sudden, you remove the interface from the trust zone. Where it will be kept then? It is going to be kept in null zone. Exactly. That's the point you need to understand. Okay. So there are two different types of zones. One is called as user defined zone. The other one is system defined zone. Under user defined, I have two different zones, which is called the security zone and functional zone. Security zone is used to screen the transit traffic, whereas functional zones are meant for some specific functionality. System defined zone, we have one zone called as null zone. It is a placeholder. All of the unused interfaces are going to be kept in null zone. That is going to be helping, or that is going to be preventing an administrator to be placing an unused interface in a production network. Even if it is going to be placed, even if it is going to be configured, it is of no use. Okay. There is also one more thing which is called as factory default zones. Factory, no. As of now, in SRX, only functional zone management is available. Other than management zone, functional zones are there, but not in SRX. Yeah. In NetScreen, you have many. Even null zone was a functional zone in NetScreen. Okay. So factory default zones are there, as you have asked the question yesterday. Trust and untrust, these are all the zones which would be available on your SRX devices, provided if they fall under the category of branch office models. You getting my point? The high-end models, you will not be having trust zone or untrust zone by default. If you want, you can create it. That's a different story altogether. Right, the basic models you will be having what is it called, the trust and untrust zone. See, basically, who will be using this basic models? Small companies, right? The small companies may not having enough budget to hire what is it called, a very experienced administrator. Okay. And that is also one more reason why the low-end models are equipped with something called as JWeb by default. The high-end models will not be enabled with JWeb by default. JWeb is the GUI. So if JWeb is required on the advanced models, of course, an administrator who is working on that organization would know that how to do that. In low-end models, you need the experienced administrator who have more of working knowledge on the Juniper SRX firewalls. Because of that, he would be in a position to manage them. So what they have done, Juniper has done certain basic configuration, basic flexibility on the Juniper SRX boxes with respect to the branch offices. Okay, these boxes may be handled by limited experienced administrator. For them, we don't want to trouble them. So we have some basic configurations like zones, the default, by default zones like trust and the untrust zone, the null zones will be there. Even by default, Gigitron 0/0/0 could have been associated to trust zone as well. So basically what we are trying to say, the security zone called as trust and untrust can be seen by default on the devices, provided if they falls under a category of what? Branch office models. Is that clear? Okay, so that's what we need to understand. Let's see how the box booted up or not. Obviously it should have been booted up. Anyway. Hey. Okay. Right, so how do we start doing this one? First of all, if you wanted to create a security zone or a functional zone, you have to start create those zones. For example, here show security zones. I can give the command and see there are two zones available here. Can you see them? Trust zone and untrust zone. Okay. There is also one more zone, Junos host. What is that? Basically, it is meant for handling the traffic destined for the device or originating from the device. For example, if you are planning to do SSH to the device, is the traffic is a transit traffic? No. SSH to the device, SSH to your SRX box. If you are taking SSH access to the SRX box, does it being considered as a transit traffic? No. From the no, transit traffic means what? From the SRX perspective, it should be received on one interface and should be forwarded out via the other interface. Now, when you do SSH on your firewall, is that going to be received and forwarded out via other interface? Then obviously it is not transit traffic. We call that kind of a traffic as exceptional traffic from Juniper's terminology. Right? If you wanted to take control on that, you can take the help of this Junos host zone. Okay. Now you may not be seeing all these zones in the higher end models. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, now if you want to create any of the zones, how do you do that one? First of all, what zones you want? If you want the zone of security zone, set security zone, what is the name you want? Let's say that SRX BO1. That's what I'm creating it. This is the name of the zone I have created. Okay, set. See, again, I think the problem is with my VMware, I guess, because I lost the access now. I lost my access to my server itself, the whole server. I lost the connectivity. Wait a minute, let it come. It will come back. You there? Okay. So this is how we have created the zone called as what? SRX underscore BO1. Now I'm going to be creating. Let's see how to create the zone for. Again, I lost it. Just now everything was fine. Okay, I will do one more thing. I'm not sure whether I have an access to it or not. It's not the problem with the VM. It's not the problem with the SRX. It's the problem with the VM. What I have inside. The server is down, I guess. I may need to fix it. Okay. Give me a minute. I'll deploy it in my local machine. I'm just doing the deploying on my local Mac, okay, so that I no need to depend on the server. This one. Keep the file somewhere. Yes. Okay, I have two adapters. Let me add a couple of adapters. Okay. Okay. So I have 4 adapters. Okay. So right. So let me turn it on. Okay. Visible, right? You're able to see the screen. Oh. Now let's start creating the zones like security zone, security zone. This is what we have done on the other box, VO1. Now I'm going to be creating another zone, but it is not security zone, it is going to be functional zone. Now how many types of functional zones I can create? Only one type within SRX, and that has to be management. You don't have other choice of it. One more thing you need to understand, only one management zone can be created. You cannot create multiple management zones. Why would you need that? That itself is a question. Okay, but you can associate multiple interfaces to a single zone, right? So that's the reason why would you require to create multiple management zone, which is unnecessary. Okay, so we can create the security zone as you want. If you wanted to create a functional zone, you can. With respect to SRX, you are allowed to create only one type of functional zone, which is management. And how many management zones you can create? Only one. Don't forget those things. Don't forget these things. Okay. Now that we have created the security zones and functional zone, what next? We just need to associate the interfaces to it. Correct? How do you associate the interfaces? Let's see. Run show interfaces does. I don't have the FXP0 in this model. Can you see that? Do you have FXP0 here? No, right? So all I have to do is what? Set security zone trust interface gig ethernet 0/0 to that. Same way, set security zones security zone SRX BO interface gig ethernet 1. Okay, then set security zone untrust interface gig ethernet 2. Okay, we are done. The mapping of these interfaces are done. Now we have to configure the IP addresses for those interfaces. We have to do that. Okay, how do you do that one? Set interface gig ethernet 0/0 unit 0 family inet address. What is the IP scheme we used yesterday? 172.16.1.1/24. I guess that's what we have done. You remember the IP schemes? Okay. This one, I think this is the one, I guess. The IP schemes, I kept it here. Let's check it out. 172.16.1.1. This side alone, I have to change the IP address according to my web server. That was 10.1. something, but I don't have the web server yet. Let me configure the IP addresses alone. Okay. So let's do the IP address 172.16.1.1/24. Set interface gig ethernet unit 0. Family inet address 10.1.20.1/24. Then set interface gig ethernet 0/2 unit 0 family inet address according to my physical interface. You remember I told you that I'm going to be keeping this interface in a bridged mode. Okay, I'll do those things. Did I add those interfaces or not? I'm not sure. 168.1.23/24. Okay. So I just commit. Okay, of course I need to set up the password for the root user, right? Set system root authentication plain text password. Okay, commit. Let me see whether I have those interfaces created or not. That is my doc. Two is there. Okay, I have 3 interfaces over here, I guess. Yes, I created 4 interfaces. I have created 2 more interfaces, right? 2 interfaces were part of the system while I'm importing it. Apart from that, I have created 2 more interfaces on that. Am I right? Okay, now you can see that my gig ethernet 0/0, see here, gig ethernet 0/0.0 has an IP address of 172.16.1.1. Then gig ethernet 0/0/1.0 is configured with 10.1.20.1. Gig ethernet 0/0/2.0 has been configured with 192.168.1.23. This is the IP address that I have configured. If I have done proper mapping of those interfaces to the respective VM nets, obviously from firewall, I should be in a position to reach my default gateway. I haven't configured the default gateway, but still I'll be able to reach it from firewall because they are in the same network, right? Okay, let's stop this one and then check it out. The interface mapping has been done properly or not. Let's go here. Adapters are here. Can you see them? So my adapter, network adapter 0 is in bridged mode. Obviously it is supposed to be associated to, okay, I don't have the interfaces also. That's the problem. What I mean to say, I don't have the VM nets at all because the VMware Fusion recently I have added, recently installed. My MacBook Pro got corrupted, so I just added them. Okay, let me go for, I just reinstalled all the tools from the scratch. Okay, so I have added the VM nets now. Okay, now if I go to the interface, then Go to the adapter settings. So my first adapter is associated to VMnet 2. Okay. Then my second adapter will be associated to VMnet 3. The third adapter is going to be associated to my bridging. See, internet sharing. Can you see bridge and network? Can you see them? So I'm just binding this one to here. Now, once I'm done with this, starting the device once again. So I should be in a position to reach my DSL router if all my settings are correct from my firewall. Okay, now the system had come up. Now let me log in. Configurations are taken. Show interfaces test. You can see the IP addresses associated to the interfaces. Still the interface is coming up, so we may need to wait for a couple of minutes to see all the interfaces with their configurations. I see this one. Now let me try to ping 192.168.1.1. Can you see that? That means what? I have access to my DSL router. Now what is that I have to do so that my firewall will have internet access? Let me say 4.2.2.2. There is no route, which means what? There is no default route added to the firewall. Okay. Now how do I add it? I can add it. Set route options protocol, static. I can add the route. Can you see that? Static route. What is the destination? 0.0.0.0/0. Then the next hop address is going to be 192.168.1.1. Then do I have anything? Do I have to do anything else? Next hop address is done. Commit check. Commit. So don't forget, while before you do in production, before you go for commit, do commit check first. Okay. Now ping 4.2.2.2. See, I'm able to reach my, yes, right? Okay, so we are done with the routing part. We are done with the interfaces mapped. We are done with the creating the zones and mapping the interfaces to the zones, configured the IP address. We ensured that the firewall has access to the internet as well. Now that is one thing that we have missed out from the yesterday's discussion as a review. We are talking about the host inbound traffic. You remember that? We were even after adding the IP addresses, we were not able to ping. You remember that? Now why we were not able to send any traffic to it? Because the firewall has been programmed in such a way that until unless something explicitly configured to accept, it is not going to be accepting and processing any of the traffic. Right? So how do we control that one? That's where the host inbound traffic is going to be talking about. The host inbound traffic is going to be defining what traffic is allowed on an interface or on the zone to be processed. Right? If you would like to control that one, yes, you can do that one. By default, nothing is allowed. But if you wanted to say whatever the traffic needs to be accepted on an interface or on the zone level, you can do that one through the help of host inbound traffic. Okay, host inbound traffic. So basically by default nothing is allowed. I agree that one. But this host inbound traffic has been classified into two different areas. One is going to be talking about the system services. I will show you that so that it will be easy for you to understand. See here, when I say set security zone trust, host inbound traffic, if I give the question mark, I can see them into two categories. Can you see them? One is protocols, the other one is system services. So protocols are basically talking about the routing protocols like your BFD, BGP, OSPF, RIP, PIM, LDP, anything. See, if I say that protocol as protocols, give the question mark and check it out what and all is allowed. BFD, BGP, DVMRP, IGMP, all of them. If you want to run any routing protocols on your SRX firewall to establish the neighborship, make sure that that protocol is being allowed to be accepted. Okay? So same way, if I go for system services, that's where you can see a variety of protocols like what? See here, DNS, Finger, FTP, HTTP, HTTPS. You have to allow any one of them if you want. Even to receive the ping on the specific interface, you have to allow it. Okay? Now, unless you accept it, the traffic is not going to be allowed. No traffic is going to be allowed to the SRX devices on the specific zone. Okay? Now, there is also one more thing. It is not that I have to write the policies as the host inbound traffic on the zone level. It is quite possible I can write this host inbound traffic on the interface level. Sorry, init 0. In this version you don't have it, but it is possible. You check with your version. I'm using the lowest version. Okay, there is one more thing I can do. Wait, I'll do that. Security zone, trust interfaces GigaEthernet 0/0, and then I can say host inbound traffic. Version to version, little bit changes will be there. Okay, the command hierarchy would have been changed. Now I am defining the host inbound traffic on the interface level, not on the zone level. What is the significance of this? Let's assume that zone 1, let's say GigaEthernet 0/0/0 is there. Now any host inbound traffic that you apply here, okay, will be inherited to the interfaces also. Okay, if any host inbound traffic policy you apply on the interfaces, that will be applied only to that interface. But you need to remember one key point here. What is that? Assume that telnet is allowed without the host inbound policy on the interface. I'm just created the host inbound policy on the zone level. Based on the telnet is allowed. Can I do telnet to this interface or not? Yes, I can do it. Okay. Now I am creating a host inbound traffic for the interface level on which I'm allowing SSH to it. Can I do SSH on this interface now? Yes, I can. Okay. Can I do telnet on this interface now? Why not? But don't mistake on that. This is not going to be working on the interface level. When you have an interface based host inbound policy, only that is applicable, not anything is going to be inherited from the zone. You understand the part? Okay. So keep in mind, if you have both the policies, zone level host inbound traffic and interface level host inbound traffic, which one will take precedence? Only the interface level. Nothing is going to be inherited from your zone level. Don't forget that. Okay. Now let's go to the firewall. Where is my mouse point? Okay. Now if you wanted to view the zones, so how do you view the zones? First of all, run show security zones. You can see all the zones available with you, right? I have a management zone called as a functional zone called as a management, security zone as SRX BO1, trust, untrust, and also the Jonas host is there. But my point here is, if I want to see the details of it, show security zone, trust. I can give this command to view only that. Okay, if I give simply the zones, it is going to be listing out all of them. If I wanted to view the specific information about a specific zone, then I just need to enter the name of the zone, that's all. Same way, I can also have something called as a detail, which will give detailed information TERS will be giving you a brief information. See, this all. When you say TERS, only the minimal information is going to be shown to you, like show IP interface brief in Cisco. Okay. We also have a command called as extensive that is not applicable with zones. Say for example, let's say run show interface Gig Ethernet 0/0. I can give this command, right? Along with that, I also have so many keywords associated to it. Can you see the details, descriptions? Can you see extensive? It's a really extensive set of information you can get it. Right? So it purely depends what is that you are troubleshooting and what is that information that you are looking for. Based on that, you may need to choose a keyword which will fetch that information and showing to you. But if I simply say TERS, very limited information you will get it. See what I have? That show IP interface brief. What is the interface we were talking about? Gig Ethernet 0/0. How many logical units have been created? Only one. Of course, that has an IP address of 172.16.1.1. Got it? So this is how the show commands are going to be helpful for you to see the statistics, to view the brief information or extensive information that is purely dependent on what is that set of information you are looking for. Okay, so based on that, either you can use TERS or you can use extensive or you can use detail. All of them you can do it. Same way, one more thing is also there. Set security zones, security zone trust, host inbound traffic along with the system services. I can also say all. What do you mean by all? All of the system services are going to be accepted, correct? All of them are going to be accepted. Even if I go for what is it called, protocols, again all of the protocol, all is also a keyword, I can use it. Can you see them? Okay, now when I have this keyword like system services, right, I'm also giving command called as, that is called as an except. Of course, in a newer version you will get it. The one what you have, the 20.4, you will be able to see those things. There is a keyword called as what? Except. When I say except, and I am saying that except, I can say except IKE or except ping. What do you mean by that? Excluding that, the rest of them are going to be allowed. When I say all of them will be allowed, but except means what? Except that the rest of them are allowed. It is equivalent to exclude. Okay? Okay? Don't forget it. Hey. My pointer. Okay, so don't forget those things. Okay, so this is how we will be configuring the zones, and then we will be able to map the interfaces, and then we will be able to define what all the traffic is going to be allowed between on the specific zone through the help of what? The host inbound traffic on the zone level and also on the interface level. Okay. Now I'm going to be asking you, I'm just passing this, I'm going to be sharing you a video now.